Bees all online here. Hagelman going for a sleep dart. Didn't hit anybody with it, though. Grenade throw down. Didn't get anyone with that either, just for the healing. There's the sun from the Earth Shatter coming in. Roar lands a big one. Zephyr, though, responding with the 2K off of the self-destruct. Decay does take out Hagelman, and now maybe the grab from the Gladiators might be able to turn it around, but no, nobody there to take advantage of that one, and Decay gives his life. Florida Mayhem holding the point for now.
I mean, that's a
Gladiators have a nice 6v5 to try to muscle their way onto the point, make it a 6v4, and yeah, this fight definitely going the way of the Gladiators. They'll finally flip it, but Florida Mayhem in one fight position now.
Yes, they are looking good, at least to start things off here. Florida Mayhem, a lot of their ults reset. Gonna have to wait just a little bit to get that Graviton and their support ults back online, particularly the Rally and the Transcendence. Gladiators with a lot of defenses, though, against the incoming Graviton Surge, and Decay nearly has one of his own. This should be a pretty even fight coming in.
Now, Florida Mayhem wants it to be an uneven fight in their favor, that's for sure, as they try to retake the point here. All right, it's a grab coming in from Gladiators. They got Swan a little bit low, got healed up again via the Transcendence. Looks like Gladiators still going to try to push forward with this one. Swan tried to counter Shatter. Maybe the self-destruct. No kills for Florida out of that one, but Roar does go down. The damage just too much, and Saya player just whipping him into the afterlife.
I mean, that's great patience from the Mayhem, honestly. The support ultimates coming out were better on the side of the Mayhem. Gladiators dedicated their Sound Barrier and their Transcendence too early, which left them open to damage on the back end of the Mayhem Graviton Surge. Now Gladiators really going to have trouble. They're just going to have to rush them here with a Rally.
Yeah, man, you got to scramble. It's time. 93% for Florida. Got to run in there. They're using that Rally from Hydration, and they're just going to go straight for BQB. They take him down early. The Zarya eliminated. Damage down for Florida. Can they keep Roar alive on the Gladiator side? Just barely. Zephyr tried to take him out, but he's just going to get demeched and taken down in the end anyway. The Gladiators will continue to build percentage now as they flip it.
I mean, not great, obviously, that BQB died first, but
sure,
this is perfectly capable for a Florida Mayhem comeback right now, because they've nearly charged up their two central support ults that they need on Lucio and Zenyatta one more time. Yeah. So they can weather the storm from Decay.
Oh, nice boop. Sends Swan way into the air. An opportunity. The grab comes in. Decay drops it. Do they have the damage, though? No. The Transcendence from Hagelman keeps Florida up.
So now Gladiators have to be careful. They're going to be aware BQB is getting another Graviton Surge soon, so they have to save the Trance.
Sound Barrier.
Big Shatter!
That's right, Shatter onto Gladiators, but they do have the healing there to keep everybody alive. Zephyr on top, though. Oh, that was nearly a big self-destruct. Turns out the damage came from Swan instead. Florida reclaims the point.
They're going to take it.
It looks like they're going to get this round. They will. Wow. This is what happens. Really need the fans behind them now. Gladiators down one round here on Busan to the Florida Mayhem.
That was pretty good ult economy from the Florida Mayhem. They certainly beat the Gladiators. There were a lot of problems with Gladiator ults on that round. Decay throwing away a Graviton Surge, support ults being used in a suboptimal fashion. So Florida Mayhem, they honestly made that look pretty easy.
Yeah, and again, we know they're struggling coming into this one. Gladiators have been looking good, but we've said it all season long. Florida Mayhem, they've got the players to be a better team than they've shown. So if they can kind of put it all together, and that was only one round on one map, but if they can keep doing this, I think they can make this a very competitive series.
Nice.
BQB on the Sombra.
And we are going to see the multi-DPS composition. Not surprising from the Mayhem when you have somebody like Saya player who is such an ace when it comes to his Widowmaker play.
Ooh. Shaz.
Saw a lot of that last season from this Mayhem team. He was one of the bright spots.
He nearly took Shaz's head off there as Shaz poked. Decay taking a lot of damage as well.
And Void actually
hacked.
He was hacked and he was slept and hacked.
Wow.
And then focused down. So Gladiator's going to have a quick comp switch here as Decay moves over to the Sombra. Void is still out of his mech right now. He's going to change off in the spawn room. So first tap to the Mayhem.
Yeah, they're just going to have to give up the percentage to the Florida Mayhem first and not the start the Gladiators were looking for in the second round.
So they have switched to the Moira. This is a composition designed to deal with the multi-DPS because you can just stay clustered on the point and output a huge amount of healing, but you can't do it if your tank is dead.
The hack comes in on the Saya player, but Saya player's still got his gun. Hack runs out right now and stays alive. Hydration, ooh, in a lot of bit of trouble here. Backs off. Lucio 1v1. Oh, Shaz comes in to finish off Saya player. They put a lot of effort into taking down that Widowmaker, and they finally get him. DK wins the Sombra battle meanwhile as well, and now Zephyr, Pulse Bomb loaded up. Might not need it, though. Gonna tag anyway. That's interesting. Maybe he was going for Roar there, but it seemed like he kind of tagged a D.Va Mech that was exploding. Meanwhile, Florida getting the kills they need anyway, so the percentage is gonna keep rolling for them.
Yeah, and they're just continuing to contest the point right now. Shaz trying to drain off some of the HP from Swan, but the fight keeps going, and this point is great for Florida. BQB, his strongest hero is his Sombra, and Saya, his strongest hero is his Widowmaker. So this is a point that because it rolled second and because Florida already won, they should be feeling very confident.
Absolutely. Shaz with the Coalescence now. Oh, but Saya player gets him anyway. Meanwhile, BQB looking for that big EMP to turn it around for Florida here. But Hydration takes him down. Gladiators turning this fight around. Looks like they'll finally get some control percent, but Florida, very reminiscent of round number one. They're going to be around 80% when this gets flipped.
But because of the chaos that was unfolding that entire time, Florida controlled the point.
Yep.
So now they're at 80%. They should be feeling great. They can switch off to a Sombra composition now with Zarya and the Reinhardt. So they know they have plenty of time to build up.
Oh, boy.
DK is going to try and stop them. They need to use this EMP very efficiently so that Florida doesn't get ult charge on this push.
Down from on high. DK has a perfect position for this EMP. Uses it. Gets a few members of the Gladiators. Not as many as he was hoping for. That's right. Sound barrier comes in for Florida anyway. Roar has to back away. There's a rally.
I mean, it's a disaster now because DK died. Right? So
what do you do?
Now you're just going to be playing on the defensive. You needed a convincing team fight win because even if you get this, the value is not necessarily there because the Florida Mayhem did get so much ult charge.
I mean, the thing is at the end of the day, Florida Mayhem has a lot more time to work with than the Gladiators do. They can use that as an economy push, just build up some percentage.
Yeah.
Just what they did.
Yes, and they're sticking with the Sombra as well. So they've got numerous win conditions right now. Zephyr well ahead of Decay, who just swapped over after dying on the Sombra. So this is looking really good for Florida. We have to be careful and watch the Gladiators' positioning because they can't get all hit or even mostly hit by an EMP coming in from BQB.
Right.
They need to stay split up around this drum.
He's got some building yet to do, but he's already up around 80%. That's going to be the Transcendence coming out from Shaz right away. Maybe suspecting an EMP, just trying to keep his tanks alive at any rate. Zephyr getting a little bit low on that Zarya. The Florida Mayhem are a little bit scattered right now. Where's the EMP? BQB has it ready to go. Chris gets a counter roll right away. There's the EMP, hits four members. Everybody but Shaz. But Shaz has already used his Transcendence, so it doesn't matter. Florida Mayhem just rolling over the Gladiators.
And look at this. They just hold on to the grab. Great discipline from the Mayhem. Now they're showing us what they can do. 80% and ticking. They stop the Gladiators at 93. And whoever wins this next fight likely to win this game. But Gladiators, virtually no tools to deal with this. They got to eat this grab. Basically.
Oh yeah, you must, because otherwise that grab is going to keep you from getting onto the point most times.
They're waiting for it right now. Lucio is backcapping, so Big Goose is contesting.
Yeah, you can see Zephyr trying to pour damage in onto Void right now. Get him out of the mech so he can't block the grab. Oh, it gets eaten!
He got eaten!
He was ready. Zephyr thought he had used up enough of the defense matrix, but he didn't. Void gets it. That's huge for the Gladiators. Trying to turn this one around. Shatter comes in from Swan. They knock down Shaz and Void. Where are the kills? They can't get them, though. Hydration has a rally, too, so extra armor for the Gladiators.
The sound barrier can still save the Mayhem. They're going to have to use it soon.
Yeah, Florida in trouble. They use that sound barrier to get the extra shields, but they got to get kills out of this. They got to be aggressive. There's Void with the self-destruct. No kills from that one. A lot of low-health members here for Florida. BQB getting close to another EMP. If they can hold on for just a bit longer, maybe he can do it. Coming in now. Can he get the EMPs? Diving forward. Zephyr doing tons of damage. There's a 5-man EMP. Everybody but Shaz again. And the Florida Mayhem turn it. BQB, the hero, coming in with the second EMP. And that is going to deliver them the first map of this series. Goose the last to fall. And that's Florida taking the lead.
Wow. Florida Mayhem coming out with a statement game. looking really strong in terms of their ult economy, much more confident, much more disciplined.
That one fan at the beginning has got to be feeling pretty happy now, and all the other fans out there in the audience are happy too. We'll see if Gladiators can tie it up when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Огонь по готовности!
Into the iris.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. Our old friend Hanamura Point A presented little difficulty for Gray in the Paris Eternal as they utilized a perfectly timed bionic grenade from Ana to neutralize the entire Florida Mayhem healing output. The Eternal seized their advantage and steamrolled the point.
That's a great bionic grenade, great grenade.
Anti-healing down all over Florida, and immediately the hard point not so hard anymore. That was a stomp. Wow, what a beautiful setup from Gray. Florida Mayhem taking map number 1 and looking really good doing it, actually.
Yeah, it was a combination of things. Certainly, we talked earlier this season about how since they made the roster changes, there we go, got it out, they have looked better than they have at other points, like in Stage 1, but they never really got it together in a coherent way.
Right.
I don't want to read too much into one control map, but at least on that map, they did look like they had improved and were having a better ult economy. But also, Gladiators sort of looked map where we could see some bunker compositions with Surefour running a May or running a Bastion. That has been in the Gladiators' wheelhouse.
Dare I say, Symmetra?
I mean,
as well.
Maybe. We will find out.
You never know. We're going to go to Paris. It's going to be our assault map as we look ahead to the second map in this series. We'll see if Florida Mayhem can perhaps take a 2-0 lead, or will the team of the day, the Los Angeles Gladiators, tie things up, send us into halftime all locked up. We'll find out. Our assault map. This is a new one. It's a new map, Monty, in case you haven't noticed. Pretty new. You capture point A, capture point B.
How exciting.
Teams alternate attack and defend. And Mayhem have not won on this map. Well, the Gladiators have enormous sample size.
Exactly. I mean, the Mayhem haven't won on any of the maps in the pool today, except for now. They got their first win there on Busan. So, starting to turn things around. And Gladiators will be on the defense first.
You know, if the police were really that great, you'd think they'd stop everyone from fighting right outside their building.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they got it off. Who knows?
I don't know. Like, what's going on over there?
So this is really weird, obviously, because Hydration is on Orisa and Roar is on a Winston. So it's sort of a hybrid dive bunker combination where Decay and Roar are going to be going and trying to disrupt the back lines, but they have a lot of healing from the Baptiste and the Ana. So watch the Immortality field here because Florida has to get rid of that. Swan now going to be on a Wrecking Ball, and we've got weird compositions across the board.
I love it. Gladiators shifting. Taking on that left side for their defensive option now.
Yeah, this is where they're trying to play because they see the Pharah, so they don't want to necessarily be out on the open. They want some cover to be able to go back inside. Mortality field is taken out by Hagapun.
I guess when you've got the Winston too, you've got someone who can be mobile and be on the point to not give away that free percentage.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy for sure. We'll see how it works out.
I like the idea anyway. Florida certainly struggling approaching it anyway right now. BQB down. That's going to make it harder to approach as well.
I mean, the nice thing about Roar on this Winston is he's able to respond to the flankers like the Sombras. This is actually looking like a pretty clever composition.
I like
now to go. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but Gladiators really were the best team in the league who had time to practice on this patch more than anyone else, meaning that they weren't in stage playoffs. They didn't play in week 5. So of last stage, so they are a great team that has had more practice than other teams. So them coming up with interesting meta-defining strategies, not out of the realm of possibility.
Yep, it's been done before. Roar pops that Primal Roar, or Primal Rage rather. Hagapun,
he is a Primal Roar right now.
That's right. With a Primal Roar, he Primal Rages. Ooh, he denies the res too. Nice, waited for Chris to come up and try to res that. Really intelligent play from Roar, and now Swan down as well, so that's the end of that push.
Yeah, a little tough there potentially to actually challenge that Hanzo with a Storm Arrow at close range.
Yeah.
Looked a little bit dicey, but Roar certainly responding to the back line well. This is a really cool composition. And now when they come in, Decay is going to be there with an EMP. They're going to try and break this bunker with the Dragon Strike, the Hanzo ultimate, but...
Well, at least displace them, you know?
I'm not sure this is going to work, really.
I think you try to use the Dragon Strike to put them in a good place to barrage them. Let's see if that's the plan. This will be a take mode. Oh, Surefour knocked off the edge of the world, and there's the EMP from BQB as well. And everything used at once for Florida Mayhem. They don't even need the barrage. Poor Surefour. You can't. Tanks aren't known for their seaworthiness, I will say.
Yeah, no, but they still have EMP though, and somebody has to get on this point. And there's the EMP, gets 5.
Yeah, Zephyr gets hacked, but they need follow-up kills on this one. Right now, they don't have any yet. There's a barrage. Oh, we get Shaz. Immortality field taken out by Saya player as well. Big Goose takes out Saya player in return. Supercharger not lasting too long. Florida Mayhem will take point A.
Yeah, minute remaining. Still 3 minutes taken off. Gladiators with a very interesting composition. And here we go again. Hydration will be on the Roadhog and Surefour on the Soldier 76. So the weirdness does not stop here. Florida Mayhem switching over, but they maintain the Hanzo pick, which is curious. I guess they still want this to break the bunker. And Gladiators are mind gaming them. They went back in, switched back to the Bastion. So now here we go. Florida Mayhem will once again be trying to play.
All right. So the tricky thing with Pharah on this point is that you actually do have to go down through the doorway in the middle to get in. So it's not, you can't go over the roof like you can with a lot of other maps with Pharah. It gets a little bit dicey to approach here.
Yeah, it does. And you also have to stay in the middle of the point really as well, which... sort of makes it so you can't have the most distance between yourself and DPS here. Surefour now.
Right. Famous Widowmaker coming out for Surefour. Escapes the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, and they switched back to the Roadhog, so they're using the defensive advantage that they have with these compositions.
Yeah, Hydration just trying to jump right on BQB. He still does a lot of damage. Goes up. Sleeping Winston. Oh, that was brutal. No animals were harmed in the making of this match. Except for that hamster.
Except for that Wrecking Ball.
And occasionally a hyper-intelligent grill scientist.
Well, I mean, Los Angeles Gladiators here, they are just continuing to play the swap game. And one of the hallmarks of the Gladiators last season was that they were so flexible in terms of their strategies.
Yeah.
And they think about the game in a way where they can use the spawn room advantage to make plays, right? They're happy just to keep resetting the old game.
You can see Surefour finding a couple shots.
Well, there's a problem with playing Pharah.
Back again. Yeah, generally the Widowmaker does pretty well.
So once again, Florida Mayhem switch to something else, and then Gladiators are going to switch back now to the Bastion comp versus the 3-3.
All right, going to try to use that Immortality field to stay alive versus the Bastion. Crowd getting into it now, and Gladiators having a good defense. That's going to be a decent EMP if Decay decides to pop it. Had a great angle there, decided to save it. Wait for them to come out of the point. That's going to be a decent EMP. That's right, 4 people taking down Gladiators, wasting no time in cleaning that one up.
Okay.
Simple. That's about as simple as it gets.
Simple, effective, use one ultimate.
Yep.
Florida Mayhem, the problem with them switching over to the 3-3 is that they're disadvantaged versus this bunker composition, especially with the Junkrat there, too.
Yeah, and we know what a great Junkrat hydration is from last year.
So, but the problem is that since they keep switching on and off it, back to 3 DPS, back to 3-3, they just reset their 3-3 ults every time, and they've wasted like 2 minutes doing this.
Yeah.
So Gladiators are just living inside the Florida Mayhem's head right now, and they are confused.
They're the ones causing the mayhem this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Big Goose playing as Baptiste this time. Baptiste. And Florida Mayhem trying to come around the backside of the point now. All right, Immortality Field down. Decay takes out Haga, but Side Player dies immediately as well. Whoa, that was fast.
And that was...
Whoa, Nano Boost on a Bastion.
That was several things, Noah. That was an Amp Matrix. That was a Nano Boost. That was a grenade, a biotic grenade onto the clustered members of the Florida Mayhem.
Man.
And that is... All those things are just instant death.
I was going to say that instead of like actually swearing in my rankings from now on. Nano Boost on a Bastion. That was a lot of damage.
That was ridiculous. And you know what? Perfect use of those ultimates. Because now you have the tank mode, supercharger, and the Junkrat tire. The Rib tire is there. So you should probably just use the Rib tire actively right now on their approach and then save the supercharger and the tank mode for their last push.
Couldn't agree more. Will the tire come out?
Wait, Decay's almost got an EMP again, too. This is brutal to watch, though.
I mean, Surefour has tank mode, and there's no river to knock him into this time.
No, the Sen is not there to be his doom.
That's right. Oh, Immortality Field. Here comes the tire. Oh, taken up by Zephyr right away. They were ready for that tire. Good response there, but they lose Saya player in the process. 35 seconds left. Florida has to try something. There's just no cover on this point, though. Supercharger down. I mean, everything is just making this Bastion the most terrifying beast in the world right now. That's it. It just all falls apart for Florida. They got 20 seconds left. I don't even know if they can make it back to the point in time.
This is really interesting for the Gladiators. So,
it's beautiful.
It's really cool to watch, and the constant swapping of compositions has just thrown Florida Mayhem for a loop, and now they have to go back to this multi-DPS comp. They're like playing into an EMP. Yikes.
It's like my ranked games, but it makes sense when people switch heroes constantly. Here we go, Gladiators trying to finish off the defense. Saya player just going for the swing and ham, and another big EMP comes in, and now Surefour, it's tank time. Gets 2 already. Make it 3. Guess what? Transcendence can't keep me alive. Oh no! That was brutal.
And the Immortality Field, so nobody dies.
That's it. Overtime ticking away, and what a hold for the LA Gladiators. Sick point A composition. Sick point B execution. That was beautiful.
Probably one of my favorite points this season, Noah. Five games
absolutely.
were so fun to watch. Excellent job by the Gladiators. Florida Mayhem had no idea what to do.
So one of the best outplays I think I've seen on a team level so far.
And they've always been good at this, Noah. Their coaches are crafty.
Yep, absolutely. Break time, and when we come back, Gladiators on the attack.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Gladiators. Gladiators. They had a great defense in that first round, didn't they? It was really unique.
They're
Very tricky.
I have praised the Gladiators coaches a lot in the past because I think that they use the resources that they have available to them on this team so well. Over the past couple of seasons, they've really identified their players' strengths and they've turned them into weird strategies that are effective.
That's right. And at halftime, Assistant General Manager for the Florida Mayhem, Scott Tesser, a.k.a. Bare Hands, will be joining everybody there to chat a little bit.
Don't be scared, though. He doesn't actually have bare hands.
No, his hands are bare in that he doesn't wear gloves.
That's not how it's spelled.
Oh, you get the idea, though. This is the internet, Monty. Like, things aren't always said like they're spelled.
That's true. I've learned that well.
Yes, we've learned that well casting Overwatch League.
The value of literacy plummeting in the modern era.
Absolutely. Call the police. Oh, apparently you're already at the police station. Well, good luck. Here we go. Florida Mayhem on the defense. Gladiators on the attack. Let's see what they've got in mind. Shaz looking for an early shot there before he swaps, I would imagine. Yep, over to the Ana. Decay on the Tracer now.
Okay, so they are looking for heavy flanks here into that back line.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Well, that was awkward.
Well, sometimes you get hit by a trap.
Sometimes it do be like that.
Sometimes you can just get hit by a trap, and then the Junkrat kills you, and you give a bunch of Riptire charge over.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Gladiators. More changes, actually, from the Gladiators.
Yep, so this is the composition that they wanted to use against the multi-DPS look of the Mayhem last time. Question is, how does one get through this choke point?
We're about to find out. I think it's going to be the halt-hook combo. That's the plan. Takes down the trap. Roared down, though. They lost their Harissa.
Yes, exactly. How do you get through that choke point against this amount of spam? Saya player finds an angle around the side. BQB, of course, already has a Riptire. Why not?
Do you really want to be in that little room with a Junkrat on the other side, too? Especially not now. Case in point, here it comes.
Scatter!
Nope, all die instead. It's called a reset. That's a tactical reset. Time to change. Time to make some changes here.
There are a lot of issues with
or not
the attempts that we're seeing from the Gladiators, but the Harissa barrier will fall pretty fast to the amount of spam that's going to be coming through on the side of the Florida Mayhem.
Indeed it will. So yeah, you just save the Diva rockets and hit it with a bunch of Junkrat damage as well. Well, they made it through that time. Sort of.
Well, some of them did.
Sort of.
Okay, they finally get the Batiste in there, and they're just going to use the Amp Matrix right in the choke.
Ooh, all right. They're going to try to break that hard point with the Amplification Matrix. And they do cause Florida to scatter, so they got their wish, man. This is what they were trying to do.
Yeah, now they can rotate over to the point.
Okay.
So interesting use of the Amp Matrix right there to basically win the barrier war. And the way they do that is because the barrier pressure from Storm Arrow and the damage from Roadhog is very intense.
Yeah. Hydration has a nice look at everything. Swan really low. They finish him off. Decay with that kill. The double sniper really coming through now that they know where everybody is. And that's going to be point A. All right.
That is.
So it worked in the end.
I guess they wanted to take a lot of damage so that Batiste would get a fast ultimate, and then their plan was to win a barrier battle after the Junkrat tire had been used. Unconventional, but it ended up working.
That's what we've been coming to expect from the Gladiators. Now they're pushing into point B. Watch out for the crystal statue, please.
I mean, this is tough because Mayhem have swapped into this knowing that Hydration is about to have his Dragon Strike online. This is so dangerous.
Yeah,
Supercharger, they're just winning barrier battles.
It's self-destruct right in the middle of everybody. Takes out the Supercharger and the Immortality Field, but Big Goose falls to BQB. Decay, whoa, comes back with a couple of headshots. Swan gets red, but there goes BQB. Decay putting his team on his back. Meanwhile, Hydration tosses the Dragon Strike through, and the snipers deliver the Gladiators. A lot of progress here on point B. I think they may have just delivered the map.
I mean, we'll see how long they can stick here. 3 tanks still there. They don't have any support.
That's it.
But that's it. They can't get back in time.
Gladiators tying up that series in style. Great defense. Interesting play on the offense, but the snipers get the job done. And this is becoming a pretty great series.
That was one of the most entertaining maps we've had this stage, though.
Yeah.
Easy.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, as team wraps it up, goes to halftime. We'll take a break, too, and when we come back, halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's Network, T-Mobile, and by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Team up for special attack.
The Mayhem are trying to put an end to LA's match winning streak, but the Gladiators will definitely have something to say about that. They have things all tied up at 1-1 at the half. Welcome back to halftime, everybody. Malik here. We got Sideshow and Zoe. Guys, so far, this match has been a lot closer than expected, wouldn't you say?
Way closer than I was
Absolutely.
expecting.
Yeah, no, I was super surprised by what the Mayhem pulled out of their sleeves on that very first map. More so because it was some of the players we actually have been criticizing a lot who really stepped it up this time. I really loved what we saw from Zephyr. I really loved how Swan played. So overall, they look much improved.
Yeah, and I wonder whether this is a result of them going with this new lineup and being able to fix a bunch of the mistakes that had been plaguing them in terms of their communication structure. And I agree with you. This was mental in terms of the difference that we saw in quality from Zephyr in particular, but also Swan. When Zephyr was able to go over to the Zarya, which he played quite a lot of when BQB went to Sombra, he actually looked pretty strong. And this is a player that's received a bunch of criticism, and a player that a lot of people were saying might not be even included in the future direction of the Florida Mayhem. Right. But he's making a great argument for himself to continue to be one of the core players for the Mayhem, as long as he can keep performing like this. I don't think anyone was expecting Florida Mayhem to come out swinging and take the first map here on Busan, but they did it even without doing anything too cheesy. They just came out and
they
played
straight
like
up 3-3. Yeah, it's nice.
Right. It was really impressive by them. Now, moving on to Paris, I believe you have a little illustration for us, don't you?
I do. I've got as the crowd goes wild for sewing for
I don't know why.
for who knows what reason.
Appreciate it, though. Love you guys.
I want to take you through a defense we've been seeing quite a lot of on Paris, which is this double main tank defense where you have the Orisa and you have the Winston. Most of the time they're set up in this room here, and the job of the attacking team is to burst down these shields. So that's why they're running a lot of poke with the Pharah, with the Hanzo. But the primary person that's going to try and stop this is Raw, who can go back to point and play defensively to block the players contesting, aggressive in the choke alongside the Sombra, or can peel back for his team. But especially when Raw has his primal rage available, which he's just about to get in this fight, he can go aggressive and cause a huge amount of disruption. So if you watch this primal from Raw's POV as well, you'll see how much work he gets done with it. Ooh. And it only requires him and the Sombra going aggressive to be able to win these fights. Because as an offensive team, it takes so much time to be able to push through that choke, set up, You're often running the Ana, which the Winston bubble can just totally disrupt. Great block on that Mercy Resurrect at the end there as well from Raw. And this is a really nice defense that we don't see or have never really seen on other maps, where you pair the Orisa with the Winston. But we saw Dallas play a ton of it with Note playing the Orisa and OG going wild with the Primals. And I think it's a really intelligent, nice defense. And Paris is one of Gladiators' best maps as well. So the Mayhem, even though they didn't win that one, should still, I think, be feeling pretty good about the fact that they made it, reasonably close.
Close. And like you said, Gladiators, they look great on that one.
Yeah, they do.
I love the juggling act by Roy there, man. Every time I see the Primals and they turn into a juggling act, it's great. Well, the Mayhem definitely did look better, but it'd be interesting to know a little bit more of what exactly is going on with the Mayhem. So we actually have Bare Hands, the assistant GM of the Mayhem, who's standing by with Danny Lim backstage. Danny, what's going on?
What's up, Malik? Thank you so much. I'm here joined by Bare Hands, the assistant GM of Florida Mayhem. Bare Hands, thank you so much for being here with me. Now, Florida Mayhem is going through, a major change right now currently, and I was just wondering if you could sort of explain to us what's happening, and also what you guys are trying to achieve with the new direction that you guys are taking.
Sure, we're making a lot of moves, both with our roster and with our coaching staff. And I think the main goal we're trying to accomplish is just to have better communication between the team, both in-game and out-of-game, like during practices and stuff like that. So we're moving to more a fully Korean roster that can speak Korean all the time. And we're aggressively recruiting a lot of players and coaches, mostly from Contenders Korea.
Talking about Korean players and Korean roster, full Korean roster, are you guys trying to, is it safe to assume that you guys are trying to emulate a top Korean roster team in the Overwatch League? Is there like a specific team that you guys are trying to emulate?
Yeah, I think there's a few teams. Like, first, we're relying a lot on my experience with New York Excelsior from Season 1. But I think we're also looking closely and having a lot of conversations with Runaway, who is a team that plays in Contenders Korea, that obviously their full roster just got picked up and became the Vancouver Titans for this season of Overwatch League. But
The heck are you coming from?
Who let him in? Who let him in? This is too much.
Boost his ego
I know.
so much.
I can see your head inflating as you receive
Not
these
at all.
chants.
Not at all. I'm a consummate professional. In no world am I egotistical by any means whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, though, for those who may not, maybe you joined us this season, I'm the global icon, national treasure, Golden Boy. Welcome, everybody.
So humble.
Most humble person in the world.
Most humble, largest head in esports.
Most handsome, too, though.
That's right. Well, what's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Not too much.
Yeah, I'm doing good,
And they said I didn't turn up to work for a while. Where have you been?
Man, just traveling the world, hanging out with my boy DJ, just doing, just living that, lifestyle. I'm just messing around. I think we got a show. We got a show to do, right? So let's go ahead and move on with this and talk about the matchup, because we got ourselves a good matchup here, people.
We do.
LA Gladiators taking this last game here in Paris. That was a crazy matchup. Sorry, I want to get your thoughts on the Gladiators' performance in Game 2.
I'm glad they stepped it back up. I would have been more than just a little surprised if the Mayhem also would have won the second map. So I think heading into Blizzard World, if Gladiators can just keep it up and not get thrown off, they should realistically have it in the back. However, I would have said the same thing about map 1. Like, there was a very weird alternate reality where I would have picked the Mayhem to win it, but that did happen, so I'm just a bit confused.
So we are in an alternate reality.
Yes,
is what
we
you've
are.
confirmed here. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Simulation
So I need you to make sense of the alternate reality, the simulation that we're currently in right now, because currently I did not expect this from the Mayhem. They are looking pretty good, Sideshow. Do you think they can win Game 3, or do you think Gladiators going to walk away with the dub?
I think if Mayhem want to win and want to be able to take map 3 and potentially map 4, they really have to focus on getting big performances out of Zephyr and Swan, like we were saying. These guys need to be performing at all cylinders, and I loved seeing Zephyr on that Zarya as well, so if they have more pocket picks where BQB can go over to the Sombra, where he's super comfortable, that's how I think they get it done. Also, playing a ton of Bastion on Junkertown, because they enjoy doing that all the time. The pirate ship's going to be out in full force.
When in doubt, run the bot. That's what I say. I like that idea. I just want you both to know I love you very much.
I love you too.
This has been an absolute blast. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for welcoming me back home once again. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, match 3, Gladiators, Mayhem. It's about to go down.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Hey, we're all tied up going into map 3, guys. LA Gladiators versus Florida Mayhem. Florida taking control. LA Gladiators bringing it back on Assault in the most stylish way. That was, you said it before the break, and it really was one of the most fun maps I think we've seen in Overwatch League so far this season.
I mean, I liked all the swaps in the Florida Mayhem as well, so really interesting map to watch as we get more and more teams getting used to Paris. So, yeah, it's just fun.
Should be cool. But you know what? I think Roar's been doing pretty well today. Don't you?
I do.
It almost makes me think you have some numbers related to this type of thing to talk about.
I do, and
really?
I want to talk about the Gladiators' improvement over time and really the metric that they've been working on, which was their first death in team fights. which has gone down dramatically. So as you look at the first 3 matches in Stage 1, they're at 55.9%.
Yeah.
The last 4 matches in Stage 1 down to 47.7%, and this stage at 43.8%. So overall, about a 12% reduction from their first 3 matches to Stage 2 in their first death rate, which is absolutely massive. And a lot of this is they're not getting isolated anymore and playing together as a team. But this is the biggest change overall in the Gladiators.
It has been impressive, and it's paid dividends, too, as we see Void subbing in for Surefour. As we move towards our third map, it's going to be Blizzard World. That's going to be a hybrid map in which one of these 2 teams will probably take a lead. We could see a tie. It can happen on hybrid maps. We're probably going to see a team take a lead, though. But will it be Florida or will it be LA? It's kind of like the desk set during halftime, or I guess the standing desk set during halftime, that even though Florida did lose that map, they still looked okay. And as we get things rolling, just some scouting going on from the Gladiators on attack, and they are actually going to stick with this hook comp. Interesting.
Really like the Halt Hook combo. Halt also doubles as a setup for Decay on the Widowmaker, able to pull people from behind shields.
Very true.
Hydration able to break the bunker composition thanks to the Dragon Strike, as well as the pressure on the shields. So it's going to look a lot like we saw their attack on Paris. I'm into this strategy from them now.
Well, they nearly killed BQB, and Zephyr nearly gets dropped by Decay as well. He does get dropped by Shaz, and Gladiators just rolling over the Florida Mayhem right now. They do lose Roar, but it's not going to be enough to put the Florida Mayhem back on top in this fight. Really quick, point A incoming for the Gladiators.
Yeah, difference there for the Florida Mayhem is they did not have the Junkrat this time, so a lot less danger for the Gladiators just to stand there and take the barrier war head-to-head.
Yeah, wow.
And now, Decay is switching to Bastion.
Sweet. I like it. The attack Bastion. You thought it only happened in your gold ranked games. Well, no.
Or
it's happening in the Overwatch League. It's on your payload. That's right. It's the pirate ship. It's back.
It is back, and let's see what Decay can do with this one. Batiste here as well to offer that immortality field. And because Big Goose already has that Amp Matrix online, the Batiste ultimate, they're going to use it right now and pull everybody in with a bionic grenade.
That immortality field placement from Big Goose was perfect. Around the corner, Florida couldn't get to him and let the Gladiators basically do whatever they wanted.
They look crisp. They look so crisp in their setups, and those pulls pull everybody together. The bionic grenade goes in, so the immense amount of damage from the Amp Matrix and the Bastion, there's just no surviving that.
Yeah, let's check it out again. Watching that bionic grenade from Shaz as Florida Mayhem approaches.
I mean, this is a beautiful set play, right?
Yeah, look at the upper left part of your screen. Look at that UI. Everything turning purple.
Just so brutal.
Yep, they dealt with the immortality field really quickly as well, while keeping their own hidden and safe.
Let's watch the nano boost right now, too, from Shaz, because this is going to go on Decay with the Bastion here.
It should. That's generally where you'd put it with this comp.
So right now, they're trying to play inside those small rooms, using their tankiness and the cover that it provides to stall the payload. They force the Gladiators to reposition right now.
Yep. Here we go. It's on Decay. Goes into sentry mode. Immortality field's down, and now the members of Florida down as well. Decay grabs 2, and the rest of the team cleans it up. That is so much damage coming out of that Bastion.
What's so interesting about this composition, though, is because it cleans up people so quickly due to the damage, that really Gladiators look like they're running a series of set plays on this point, because there's no staggering, there's no long struggles like we see in 3-3.
Yeah.
It is set play, wipe the enemy team, and then another set play as the payload moves.
Very decisive. And it really leaves the enemy team no counterplay if they lose somebody first. I mean, you're going to lose 2 or 3 people instead of that one guy that, you know, he maybe brawl it out until he comes back. Yeah, and it's a scary comp to play against.
There's so much synergy with this composition. Well, there's another, as we see, Amp Matrix coming in, but that's very low value because Gladiators can just retreat around that corner.
Yeah, it's basically pressing Q to take 10 seconds off your opponent's clock at this point.
Yeah, that was not great.
Yeah. Well, Decay jumps in now. He's got the tank if he wants to. Whoa, Chris! Down immediately already.
Nano boost again. Decay, he's just sitting
what do you
there
do?
in the immortality field.
What do you do if you can't kill the immortality field? And that's the thing, is as we see the Winston come into the Primal Rage, you can't anticipate that's going to do a whole lot. But as you start to take out members of the other team, there's less people to kill your immortality field.
Well, the other thing, Doa, that's so brilliant is that because Florida's playing the 3-3, they want to play the corners. But the problem is if they play the corner, then they have to walk to the payload on that corner, and then the immortality field is behind the corner.
Right.
And you're standing in a nano-boosted or Amp Matrix Bastion.
Well, engage with the self-destruct. It wasn't the greatest angle ever from Zephyr, I gotta say. Big Goose's immortality field. There it is. Down early. Now Decay popping into that tank mode. Gonna have to burn through some sound barrier shields though to get the damage done. And now Gladiator's falling back a little bit. They use the nano boost on him. And maybe now with Sentry mode he can get something done to get hydration down though. Decay under the immortality field. Another one came up. Chris trying to finish him off. He's too agile though. And Florida Mayhem looks like they're going to be able to push this one back.
Yeah, Sleep Dart onto the Diva as well, so Void on the side, and we may have to see something. They're going to go ahead and dump the Amp Matrix, see if they can get something done, but it's not going to happen.
I got a feeling we're going to see a change over to 3-3 from the Gladiators.
I think that, yes, that is what they absolutely should do now, especially in the close confines of this point.
Yeah.
So might as well use the Batiste ultimate as you swap over. You've gone through the map pretty quickly, so this is by no means a disaster. You forced a lot of ultimates out of the Florida Mayhem, but they're still sitting on that Graviton.
Yep, Reinhardt 3-3 now for Gladiators. Like you mentioned, the terrain of this final point really does kind of favor this style over what they were trying. Grav used immediately by Florida Mayhem. Roar taken out by the charge. Swan finishing him off there, and Gladiators having to back off a little bit. So Florida Mayhem finally getting a little bit of breathing room here on this point.
Yeah, but it's going to be economy pushes, right, coming in for the Gladiators.
Right, they've got time, too.
Yeah, they reset themselves. Hydration just holds on to the rally, so they're not playing super aggressively right now. They may try and use that rally just to force some other ults out on this next push. Now that they know the Graviton is down. There it is.
And Swan getting bullied a lot. Roar finishes him off with a charge. He doesn't even get to use his Earth Shatter. Now Saya player getting chased down by Void. Not a lot of support for him either. What are you going to do? Nothing. Just die. Zephyr out of the mech right now. Gladiators breaking through the defense. And they are going to get most of the way towards the end of this round.
Hey, Florida does have some ults available to them, though, and they're coming up on 6, actually. Now, they can hold this for quite a long time if they're smart about how they sequence.
I mean, the Gladiators have to know that. You can see they're backing off. Just going to wait out that amplification matrix. That's smart. Roar not even bothering to use any of his shield HP. All they need to do is poke, and you can see Decay just got his grab. They're going to have a lot of tools themselves, too, soon.
They will. So the poking game starting right now. Saya player already dropping that Amp Matrix, so one fewer tool available to the Mayhem.
Yep. Hagopun keep people up with the grenade. Now the grab comes in. Nice Earth Shatter onto Hagopun. Gets caught by that one. No kills out of that, though. Mayhem get the immortality field down in time. And now the sound barrier for Gladiators as they re-engage. Just trying to push that payload forward. Swan has a nano boost on him. That's a nice fire strike. He's still got that Earth Shatter locked and loaded.
He does, but they're still walking up right now. You see the barrier there from Roar. No opportunity to use that Shatter yet. There, he's going to try and find it.
That's right, Shatter, but only Zephyr, the one knocked down with that Void. Self-destruct catches Saya player, though, and there goes Zephyr out of the mech. They're going to get him anyway, and it looks like that is where Gladiators will finish this round. 3 points for them.
Yeah, and they have time and time bank, too. So Gladiators able potentially to make another run at it if the Mayhem can complete all 3 points on this map.
Now Mayhem making a bit of a struggle on point C. Aside from that, it's all Gladiators. Florida attacks when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Gladiators getting it done on attack. The fans are psyched. Now LA goes on the defense. Florida Mayhem trying to find a way to tie up the points, go to the time bank mode, but it's going to be a challenge.
Now that it will be, especially with how strong the Gladiators have looked ever since that initial map. Florida came out swinging, but Gladiators have thrown some unorthodox things.
I still say
Florida Mayhem.
Jump in the siege tank. Who needs Bastion?
Yeah,
you know,
just nano boost the siege tank. It's fine.
Does a lot of damage. That's right. You can even, you know, a siege tank is a lot like a giant Bastion, basically.
It does get problematic when you get too close to it, though.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that Bastion doesn't blow up his teammates like the siege tank does in StarCraft. That's a good point.
Siege tanks are really jerks.
Other option, then fine. You don't like that. There's a big pylon in the StarCraft part.
Yeah.
Warp in a photon cannon.
No, it's
easy.
fine.
Warp in 4 photon cannons.
You go ahead and use that siege tanks. I'll just zealot drop on you. It's fine.
That's okay. I'll do the photon cannon thing instead. My old Brood War strategy, man. 6 photon cannons around a pylon. Good luck, noobs. Gladiators on the defense. Swan jumps up on the high ground, checking things out a little bit here.
Swan's coming in.
Hammond, that's right. Hagelpun over to the Moira. Saya player on the Hanzo. All right.
Okay, they're still swapping.
Still switching, yep.
Okay, now they are going back to the triple DPS composition that we saw a lot from them on Paris. Looking to use that range, especially because there is that Reinhardt. So right now, Florida Mayhem are just trying to slowly poke them off the point. So this does take some time, but if you're landing those rockets, you can have some success. The idea right now is to damage that tank front line, make sure they don't have any barriers to use. Shaz?
Ooh, Shaz is so lucky he got out of that. Oh boy, that was close. A lot of damage on Decay as well. Roar getting a bit low. Zephyr goes for the knockoff. Doesn't quite put anyone off the edge. Saya player does take out Hydration's Immortality Field, though.
Yeah, BQB died right there, but does get resurrected. So the Mercy there able to recover that play. Slow push still going on. You'll notice they keep taking better and better angles onto the point. Now Saya player peeking around, but they've got to deal with these tanks. And Zephyr gonna go down.
Yeah, just burnt right out of the sky by Decay. BQB does find the kill onto Shaz, though, so Gladiators still reeling a little bit. Here we go. Dragon Strike comes in, forces Gladiators to go on the side. Don't know if he got a lot of value out of that one. It did force him into the range of the EMP, though, and Saya player with the cleanup now, but Decay gets the kill anyway, so I don't know. I think that's a lot of ults thrown in there with not a ton of thought about how to kind of play off of them.
Yeah, they haven't even taken that tick yet either. As they are respawning, they have to wait for the Wrecking Ball to get back in. Looks like first tick will be taken right now. It's a very slow push into this point.
Oh, that's something anyway. Gladiators rocking back in there. Shaz down, although Hagelpun did find the pick on that. Florida Mayhem fighting shorthanded, 5v6. Maybe Zephyr gets something done. Oh, he does. Gets the kill into Roar. Still has a barrage ready to go. Going in now. Waiting for it. Grav used by Florida. There is BQB caught by the self-destruct, but Zephyr comes back with the barrage. Gets 2 before he gets taken out by Void. It's a brawl, but Florida still on top at the end of it. They're going to get point A.
Yeah, that's what they will. So very slow push, but Florida Mayhem's patience is rewarded in the end. Now they are going to switch to that 3-3 composition. They have 3 minutes 45 seconds.
Yep.
And they're just going to throw the minefield out there because they're going to go to the Reinhardt anyway. Here is Zephyr. Nothing really Decay can do right there. Definitely nothing Hydration could do. And Void can do something.
Oh, Void is a diva. The bane of every barrage. Gladiators right back on the point, though. Wasting no time and getting aggressive on the defense. But BQB ready with another EMP if he decides to use it. Can escape back to spawn there.
It looked like he was going to have that position, but did get discovered on the flank. Now he's just going to come in with that translocator, but guess what? Big Goose is hiding, and he has the sound barrier.
I mean, the thing is, everybody got EMP'd, but everyone on the Florida Mayhem had taken a lot of damage already. So at that point, the Gladiators could just walk forward and use their regular attacks. Didn't even need abilities.
There we go. A lot of spawn camping now from the LA Gladiators, trying to reduce this time bank as much as they can.
You know, it's one of the better places to do that, too, because you do get access to that high ground that we're seeing the Gladiators on. And the enemy needs to walk past it. Look at that charge.
Point blank.
Man. It's the 1-inch charge, you know? You've heard of like the 1-inch punch from Bruce Lee. That's the Reinhardt version.
I mean, and those Brigitte changes that came in where she can't stun through the barrier anymore make those kind of plays possible.
Yeah. True enough. If you get the right timing, you still knock each other over, but you can't go through the shield.
Yeah, it's hard though when you're like that close to have the reflexes fast enough.
There's a grab. Decay drops it onto the Florida Mayhem. Side player down already. Swan taken out as well. So Florida losing people a little bit too quickly here to make any sort of fight happen. Just about 2 minutes left in the time bank. They barely left the gate.
Yeah, very minimal progress as well. BQB slowly encroaching on another EMP right now. The Gladiators have been playing so well around this choke, and they're going to know that. They're going to keep Shaz outside of that EMP. They'll be hiding him somewhere on the flank.
Got to keep the Zen safe. Zephyr wanting to find that grab as well. Find a place to put the grab. Decay got hacked for a moment there.
Yeah, they should be able to push forward. Florida has a pretty significant ult advantage right now.
Yeah.
And
Whoa.
Big Goose coming in from behind. He was trying to set up a shatter play right there.
Yep, it was a good attempt, but Florida ready for him. That's a good fight for them. I mean, best part, they don't need to use ultimates. They've got 6 now.
Yes, and that's great discipline because Gladiators realized that Florida, they hadn't seen an ult in a while, so they knew they were in a really precarious position. That's why they went for the risky play with Big Goose trying to just boot the Reinhardt to set up the shatter because that's really the only ult they had available outside of that Transcendence.
I think that's fine because you've reduced so much time on the time bank. You force them to use their ultimates on the last fight here, and then they go into C with no ults and barely any time bank.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know they have to make it through C, so every time that you get some like minor victory, then you're just going to reduce it even further. You know exactly how far they have to go. That is a lot of damage on Aurora.
I mean, this is the best case scenario for Florida. They've only used their rally so far, and they've already been winning the fight. It really does not get any better than this for the Mayhem.
This is exactly where you want to be at the Florida Mayhem. They are fully aware of what the Gladiators can do to them, and they are not afraid, and they know they don't have to commit any ultimates. And that's the only way they can come back. Is
Roar!
That's
unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. We stuck that so far forward. And now it's going to be a little bit of payload movement. As
a lot of bit of payload movement.
Yeah, Hagabin is back there sitting on the payload right now. The rest of his teammates posted pretty far forward, trying to make room.
It's incredible that the Florida Mayhem have only needed to use the rally to get all the way from the beginning of B to this point.
This is really good play from Florida.
EMP hits 4 members of the Gladiators, make that 5 actually. Shaz, though, does get the Transcendence off, and so that will counter a lot of that. Shatter gets blocked by Roar, too. So Florida Mayhem not getting a lot out of their early ultimates. Grab thrown in by Florida. Void, self-destruct onto Zephyr and Swan. There it is. The play the Gladiators have been looking for.
Took them a long time to get it, though, because of how smart Florida was.
Yeah.
They've come back from a really rough situation. That said, BQB now has to go to the Zarya. 40 seconds. It does look grim.
Yeah, it is now. They weren't able to get anything out of 4 out of those ultimates that they used. Only the sound barrier remaining now, and LA Gladiators have the lead in ultimates. They can be aggressive here, too. 25 seconds left for Florida. Roar playing that corner, keeping his shield safe. He's got that shatter as well. Walking in now, sound barrier. That's a big shatter from Roar. Huge. Gets so much damage in there, too. And that is it. I don't think anybody's getting back to the payload in time for Florida at this point.
I don't think so either. Shaz still has a Transcendence. They can survive anything Florida has to throw at them. That means Doomfist is coming out, but no one's going to get there in time.
No, when you win a fight with 10 seconds left, that is it. Gladiators go up in this series 2-1. A map remaining. Florida can tie it up, but Gladiators have a chance to end it all on our next map.
Florida still, I mean, they're making games out of this, and they're having some bright moments.
Yep, they've been making it tough for the Gladiators. Can they tie it up when we come back? Come back and find out.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Огонь по готовности.
LA Gladiators taking map number 3, putting themselves one map away from winning this series over the Florida Mayhem, and what was perhaps in many people's minds as a foregone conclusion coming into this one is not so much anymore, because the Florida Mayhem have actually been playing pretty well.
Yeah, they have, and we'll see what they can do. Obviously, this is a map where a player like Saya player can do very well with his Widowmaker and sniping skills. And on the other side, we've had some great Bastion play tonight from the LA Gladiators. We've seen it from Sureforce, seen it from Decay, and this was a team that was always more likely to use Bastion because of Sureforce's abilities on that hero, even when it wasn't meta, and they found a way to use it on maps that, I mean, like Blizzard World, that we don't typically see a lot of Bastion on.
Sure. I think as the meta kind of goes forward, that combination between Bastion and Batiste with the Immortality field, it's looking so strong because, like we saw, if you nano boost that Bastion and he kills like 2 people right off the bat, that Immortality field is not going anywhere.
I mean, the scary thing about Bastion is if you're playing it with an Amp Matrix and you're playing it with a Supercharger from Orisa and you're playing it with potentially even a Nano Boost from the Ana all at the same time, you're always going to have a damage amp Bastion effectively. Like one of those 3 ults will be available to you.
Yeah, you can kind of just cycle it and make it just suicide to show your face on the Bastion. Gladiators on the attack here as we get things started on Junkertown, our escort map. Really aggressive forward defense from the Florida Mayhem, actually. Trying to rely on the Batiste, but Gladiators having none of it. Gonna keep pushing. Swan. Oh, man. Oh, he's down. Decay finishes him off. That was a great play by Big Goose. Pays for it with his life, though, but they did get the main tank, and with the kill on BQB, they should be able to keep moving this forward. Remember, the respawn's a lot farther away for the defenders on this one.
I'm just really surprised that we're just seeing the Rhyme 3-3 from both teams right now. We're just going to opt into that conflict, considering...
yeah, that's a good point with all the Bastion stuff on Blizzard World. Here we are in Junkertown, the Bastion, like, double sniper insanity map, and...
It's weird. It's weird. I'm quite surprised out of all the heroes we've seen so far tonight that this would be the decision on Junkertown.
Gentleman's agreement, I guess, to not use Bastion anymore, apparently. Swan down. They find that first kill onto the main tank again. Something that the Gladiators have been doing all day long, and that's a really, really easy point A for them.
Yeah, it's going to roll through a couple fight wins. All the Gladiators need. Not really slowed down at all, and Mayhem starting to build up to some of those ultimates. Gladiators already there, already pushing through onto the high ground. You have to give up some, though, as Florida gets there. Rally going to be used by Hydration.
That's the idea. They're walking forward now. As soon as Hogopin's trance is done, that's going to be grab time. There we go. Graviton Surge used by Decay. The kills come in immediately. That was so big that they could pull the Transcendence out before they had to use the grab. That's like drawing Transcendence out before the Genji Dragon Blades. This is death, you know?
Yes, it is. Especially when Chris is sitting there, not up on that sound barrier yet. And Trance is the primary ult that you want.
Yeah.
Into the Graviton Surge because it lasts the whole duration without this overshield ticking down over time.
Right. Here we go. Point B. Looking good for the Gladiators already. That said, though, the Florida Mayhem do have a good amount of ultimates now to try to stabilize here on defense.
We're going to try and rotate around now underneath and around the other side of the payload.
Florida's got the bigger bang combo between the Zarya and the D.Va here.
To force the drop down from the Florida Mayhem.
That's right. Rally from Saya player. The Gladiators just trying to rotate around.
I mean, they're just going to disengage off the rally.
Yeah.
Use this time instead to take a high ground position.
Why not? You don't want to fight that. Just wait for the armor to start to tick away. Like it is right now.
So they're continuing to move. It's just a poke war. I mean, Gladiators know how many ults the Florida Mayhem have. So they are well behind. Their idea is let's just keep rotating forever, basically.
And the payload's moving.
And equalize our ult economy. And they're actually being somewhat successful in that as Shaz gets the trance and they pick him off.
BQB down. They nearly killed Swan as well. Chris's ultimate came in a little bit too late. Without that Zarya, it's going to be so hard for Florida to win this one. All right, nice shatter comes in from Florida, though. Swan does land that one. They get Decay with the self-destruct, so Florida not out of it just yet, but how do you survive against everything Gladiators has right now? The answer is you pretty much don't.
No, I don't think you're going to have that opportunity, really, but, you know, Florida Mayhem, they have to be decisive. They had a huge ult advantage that they let the Gladiators crawl back in to that engagement just by repeated movement on the map and poking their way into an equal ult economy, poking their way back into a transcendence.
Well, do you feel like Florida Mayhem just kind of gave the Gladiators too much room? Do you think they could have been more aggressive there?
I mean, I think you just have to start trying to make plays onto them. Gladiators were being smart, right? Because they're trying to transition through these chokes. So Florida would have had a hard time rushing them through a choke point. That's true.
Fair enough. Self-destruct from Void. Now the grab comes in from the Florida Mayhem. Swan too low to do anything. In fact, he is dead. And again, it seems like it's Florida kind of back to their old style, which involves Swan kind of going in by himself in some way, getting caught in some way, and dying a ignoble death.
Yeah, now Decay here on the high ground with the Graviton Surge. Playing up there, does get chunked out, has to retreat to the low ground. And trying to force them off onto the low ground. Well, they just open it up for a big shatter.
Yeah, but that shatter gets turned right around on the Gladiators now. Decay, oh, grab gets eaten by Zephyr. That's a big one. Florida Mayhem has a chance, but again, they cannot keep Swan alive. Swan's an endangered species now, man.
Oh boy, and now they're trying to rush in. Decay low, but he just won't die. Finally, Zephyr's able to take him out.
Yeah, but so many members of Florida out of commission already. That payload, though, not moving at the moment. We'll see how far they can push it.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's because the payload isn't moving, and because we have Decay running back from spawn right now, Gladiator's going to have a very hard time actually finishing the map before Decay returns.
You've still got 2:30 on the clock if you're the LA Gladiators right now. You can absolutely just take a step back like they're doing and wait for your Zarya to catch up again. Grab doesn't catch anyone. Oh, that's an ugly grab from BQB. Engaged with the self-destruct from the Gladiators. Now Swan caught again. Gone. I can't believe how many times they've killed Swan in the last part of this map here. Zephyr demeched as well. And now that Transcendence just a delaying tool for Hakopen. It's emergency time now for the Florida Mayhem. How much time can they eat off the clock before the Gladiators end it?
I don't know. Not much because of the grab.
Not much at all. Great round for the Gladiators.
Just run the Rhyme 3-3 through the whole map, make it look easy.
Yep.
Smart play around the ultimates. You know, force the Florida Mayhem to engage you in poke wars when you're behind on ult economy. You know, make them have a tough decision to run through choke points to punish you while you're doing it because you're rotating onto the high ground and the low ground, and you're playing in these bunkers. And Florida Mayhem, they don't want to do that, right? They don't necessarily want to run in there, but they also, unfortunately, give you a lot of time to sort of stabilize and then fight them at an even advantage, which, when you're the Gladiators and you're simply a better team than Florida, turns out to be a lot of one team fights for Los Angeles.
So the Gladiators end up with about 2 minutes in the time bank, 1:56 to be precise, which is a pretty solid time for Junkertown. Florida on the attack, though. We'll see what they can accomplish with that. It is an attacker-favored map, so wouldn't be surprised to see this one go to extra innings.
And you know, the crazy thing too is Gladiators only died 4 times on the attack. 28
Impressive.
eliminations in favor of the Gladiators.
It's not bad.
To 4 for the Florida Mayhem. And Void, Roar, and Shaz never died. All 3 of those players never died on the attack.
Wow.
Here we go, just creeping up right now.
That is sneaking.
As much as Diva.
Diva always makes noise.
Clunk.
Can't
Clunk.
crouch.
Clunk.
Never take Diva on one of those like spy missions where you need to be silent, you know?
Like this one right here.
That's right.
All right, so you're going to run up and play a very close...
Hello! Oh, nobody's there. They're on the high ground.
And here we go. Symmetra now switched to from BQB. They're going to bypass this defense onto the opposite high ground. There you go.
I like it. All right. Hydration's Immortality Field down
You
early
still
on.
have to push this like payload, though, and they're stopping you because they're underneath you.
Yeah, dangerous move for Hagopin to jump out from behind the Bastion shield, or behind the Orisa shield, but he's okay.
Uh-oh, he got booped off.
Oh, that's not good.
Not punished, though.
No, to punish now,
punished.
yeah. Punished. Swan down 2. So the aggressive defense for Florida, or attack rather for Florida, eventually does get figured out by the Gladiators. So they are able to win that one without losing anybody on their side.
Yeah, Gladiators have the appropriate reaction to just move into the building that they're on top of. Obviously, you're not going to get fire into there, and you're able to pull it back around and force them to re-engage you. And once they make that rotation, that's when you just boop them off. They're going to try it again.
Yep. And again, that Symmetra builds ammo when she shoots shields, too. So she's really good at burning through those shields once that beam gets powered up.
Problem is, okay, they're going to do another portal onto the opposite building, but this doesn't get you actual payload pressure.
No, they're trying to just get a couple kills and then get the push going with the long respawns for defense. There's
there you go.
Splitting things up. They do get Shaz early on. There's the Amp Matrix down on the Florida side as well. Roar taken out, and that is what the Mayhem were looking for.
There you go. Pretty big investment, but you know what? They're going to just work up to a couple more ultimates. Sombra Wall proving effective there.
Well, I like the idea that once the Bastion is kind of set, you can use the teleporter to move him without him leaving sentry mode. That shield works out, though.
Yeah, definitely works out very well for them.
Yep.
Just waiting for the portal cooldown to come back again so they can shoot into that building while moving the payload.
So much
Here we
damage.
go. Roar nearly dead, but the Immortality Field comes down.
Well, they got the Transcendence as well, so they're going to be able to keep the tanks alive. Mortality Field's going down. Nice shatter from Roar. That is huge. Decay gets caught, though, by the self-destruct from Zephyr. And now Hagopin with Configuration Tank trying to turn this one around. Goes for the air shot. Doesn't connect with anybody, though. And he's going to get smacked down by the Gladiators.
I'm surprised they still have this Symmetra, though. That's, I think, the biggest interesting factor to me is that they kept on with it after breaking that initial defense from BQB.
It's very brave. He does get 2 kills, though. I mean, he is just kind of roasting everybody. That payload's still moving. Thing is, once that Symmetra's damage gets ramped up, there's very little that could stop her.
Yep, and so that's probably why they kept her right here. Also to provide the protection with the shield, or the wall, rather.
I mean, it negates a lot from the amplification matrix, too, when you put that shield up. Now the sound barrier Gladiator's not done yet. They're still fighting this one. Florida trying to dodge back and forth through the shield. BQB roasts another one.
And he's actually getting a lot done here.
Yes, he is. Oh, but the Earth Shatter comes in. Roar down. BQB still up. They do it. They take point A. The Symmetra's good.
And that said, though, Doa, it took more than 3 minutes, and now they're going to use the portal just to go back into spawn. This is where the swaps occur.
Right.
Back to the 3-3. So fun Symmetra use there from the Florida Mayhem.
Hey, it worked. I mean, a lot of times you forget just how much that damage that Symmetra can do. And
they're going to be really vulnerable to this grab, though. That's the issue. Decay has been sitting on this one for a little bit, and they're just going to go ahead. Hammer time. Goodbye.
That's a lot of damage. Threshing them like so much wheat.
And because it took so long to get through point A, now the swap delaying them further. Eco pushes going to be necessary.
Yeah, I suppose at the end of all this, it will result in kind of a lot less time in the time bank when they approach some of the later parts in this map, like C.
It's definitely going to get rough here.
Yeah, it is
Only
kind of
2.5 minutes right now. They're just going to rush up with the Transcendence. This is how you punish the swap.
Yeah.
If you are on a 3-3 composition and your opponent switches, this is how you get that maximum value. Go ahead, use the Transcendence aggressively. You know they don't have tools. They're not going to have the sustain that you have with your support ultimate. And they don't have anything else to punish you with either.
It's going to take them a lot longer to build those ultimates, too.
Yeah, bad stagger as well.
Yep. Payload has barely moved so far for Florida Mayhem.
Taxi back now for Shaz.
Yeah, they're just linking up with their flex support.
Big Goose was sent back, but they have plenty of time in spite of the close spawn rooms.
Yeah. Still some good ultimates available for the Gladiators as well.
Fire Strike, going to be used through that. Does get eaten by the defense matrix.
He's already got his Earth Shadow, though, so...
Yeah, it's just mostly about the chunk damage you can take off people with the Amp Matrix Fire Strike. That can be pretty nasty.
Oh, yeah. It can one-shot Zenyatta, so... there is that. Florida Mayhem finally gets back on the point, keeps pushing. There's a grab. Okay, Florida getting aggressive here now. Self-destruct coming in, and that's going to not find anybody, but Roar has taken enough damage anyway. The grab gets used. Hagopan trances in response. No kills out of that for Gladiators. It's a grab they might want back. Florida Mayhem pushing forward here. They've had to get dedicated a lot as well, and they're down to just a minute remaining now.
Have to push back. Amp Matrix has been used, trying to escape with the help of that Immortality Field. Does get taken out by BQB.
Yeah, they do get away, actually, yeah.
That's going to be a re-engage right now. Will Gladiators play this game around these chokes and staircases that they did last time?
They're going to need an enormous Earth Shatter, but if they get one, they could just win the map with it. It's possible. We're waiting for it. All right, there's a grab. Is he going to use it? Swan ready. He blocks it. No problem. Sound barrier comes in, though. Roar down Swan as well, but that payload's still moving. Big Goose trying to keep the payload where it is. Now it's Void's turn, so again, just trying to buy as much time as they can, but Gladiators eventually going to need to give this point up.
Yeah, but there's almost no time to get through point C.
Yeah.
It's a long point to have only 1 minute and 45 seconds to get around this U-bend. So Gladiators draining more and more time off the clock right now.
Yeah, and on top of all that, they're going to have a good amount of ultimates too. So if they can use that efficiently, they're only going to need to fight maybe like 3 fights here.
Yeah, Florida Mayhem, they can counteract the grab.
Whoa!
Nope, never mind.
Wow.
I was going to say with the Transcendence, but then Hagopan got exploded.
Yep. We have to wait for that one now. The Gladiators getting the 6v5.
All right, do you go ahead and use it here is the question. Like, you know, can you thread it in there before Hagopan returns? And the answer is going to be no. They're not going to choose to do that.
Oh, they are going to get Zephyr to go ahead and use the self-destruct. There's Swan.
Big shatter.
Swan gets a couple with the shatter. Manages to block his team from losing people to the self-destruct as well. But Cyplayer and Zephyr go down. They just can't keep people alive. And Gladiators unfazed as they win that defensive fight. 45 seconds on the clock now for Florida.
Just a couple pushes left, or Gladiators are going to win this match. Florida Mayhem, the power is there to send us into a 5th and final map in this series.
I mean, Gladiators are holding all the cards right now, man.
Yep.
They've got the ultimates. Florida Mayhem with only the sound barrier. Oh, and you gotta check your corners if you're Florida.
All right.
Oh,
They're not going to play that game.
I was gonna say it's a bit of a risk to go for something like that. I like it, but Roar not deciding to go through that one. Comes back around. There's the sound barrier for Florida. That's their big ultimate. They got to keep Swan alive. They knocked out BQB. The Zarya out of the way. Gladiators finding the kills. And that's it. Nobody can get there. That's going to be the end of the series. Gladiators hold. And that's a 3-1 victory for Los Angeles.
Nicely done by the Gladiators. Performing at a level that we expect of them. Little bit of a surprise to see them drop that first map. But Florida also probably played the best Overwatch we've seen from them this season.
Yeah, I totally agree too. I think that's a big Gladiators win. They're looking fantastic in stage 2. All the stuff we've liked about them was on display. The comps, the skill. But on the other side, Florida Mayhem. Honestly, if you're a fan of that team, I think there was a lot to be happy about in that series despite the loss.
Yeah, close maps for sure. Surprising start to the series, but Gladiators still looking for that undefeated stage.
Yeah.
Like the Shock, like the Titans, and like the NYXL.
It's a crazy thing that we've got all 4 of those teams playing here today. We could have 4 teams that go undefeated in stage 2.
Yeah, they don't play each other, so that's what we got.
It's going to be interesting. Obviously, the Titans in the next match. For now, though, LA Gladiators savoring that win. And savor they should. Meanwhile, Danny is ready to chat a bit with Void about what went down on those maps.
Thanks, guys. What is up, everybody? I am here joined by Void from LA Gladiators. Congratulations on the win. Look at this. One more time, Gladiator fans. One more time. Make some noise. There you go. There you go. Congratulations. Now, first map on Busan was a bit of a surprise for everybody, I feel like. Void, can you sort of walk us through what happened and what sort of adjustments, starting from map 2 that you guys made in order to pull off the victory today?
자, 오늘 첫 번째 맵인 부산에서는 조금 살짝 많은 분들이 그렇게 예상을 하지 않았던 것 같아요. 거기서 좀 무슨 일이 있었는지 살짝 설명을 해주시고, 그리고 또 어떻게 해서 어떤 팀적인 조율을 해서 끝까지 경기를 승리를 하게 되셨는지 설명 좀 부탁드릴게요.
첫 판에는 부산에서 팀합이나 소통이 약간 안 맞아갔는데 쉬는 시간에 가서 조율을 받고 다시 소통이랑 팀합이 맞아지면서 이겼던 것 같습니다.
Right, so for Busan, I feel like our team was lacking a little bit in teamwork-wise and communication. So during halftime, we went in and then we kind of worked on that, talked about the communication issues and the teamwork. So we sort of went in focus, and that's how we won. And regardless